Yeah,
It's all falls into this.
It's strange. I know it's early.
We got a few more.
Holy shit, yeah, wow.
Any,
That's what kills you. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but big business is trucking. Yeah,
Right, no, I.
nice.
appreciate it. Yeah, I was out early. I got
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In mine.
Nice. The hay business though, well, it's kind of just like, it's like, any of, but if you have a good year, so does your neighbor, so does, so you got. No, not at all. The horse market, yeah, it's the hay business going, or at least it's short of. But you get these ladies in, well, she was Roxy, understand about what the goats do. Hops and stuff or whatever. They keep fresh over. We have what we're told horses there at the house, and I've got two of them there at the girls. They talk to them, love them, they treat them like I'm pets.
Couldn't you know with you on the.
They have no idea. They have no idea what they're even talking
Seems
about.
like a great place to.
These,
Well, it's near the school.
these all the same?
Yeah, they're all.
Okay.
Okay, it'll handle it. And it's such a big thing.
Yeah.
Yep. And now, of course, you come with a big tractor. So what you're gonna say. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so get her. And yeah, will it add before traffic? Okay, probably will. But
Yeah.
the point of rural.
Yeah, we've got most of the, we keep big whales at the house, we keep some small.
Well, we'll have to figure that out. We don't have to.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to.
Well,
Right.
So then what?
I guess it's included. Expenses.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, what were you asking about?
No, Ken says that car will.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's like you do that, then you go.
It's gonna cost more money than it's taking off.
Well, isn't that what now, or is it
Charge you for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
If
that's,
you get any, if you send anything back.
yeah, but,
Yeah.
cause
Well,
we
it
got
takes
some of
a lot.
that, we got commercial use, it was never enough.
Winter months and size and we pay electric bill and you pay
So we're gonna.
When's the election? It's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so-
My brother did the same thing.
remember
Just
the
got
vote?
pellets there, so that his heat pump wasn't kicking up too much in the winter.
I'm fine to do so, and you saw that.
They stopped and I'm like, well, I'll listen. Well, we have to look at it.
You know,
I think any warranty you go through, every other is probably.
It's worked out for me so far, but.
I mean, I'll
They were like, does anybody else?
Scott, the tap fees for sewer water in Adams County,
Oh,
is it
yeah, I don't
vary
know.
by township?
Very by municipal authority.
Municipal authority, okay.
Wrong house.
So I need to figure out who that is. So,
They didn't
hope I
want to
can.
do it, so that's. That's here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so by municipal, okay. Probably, because there's Franklin Township, for sure, yeah.
I think it's their system in cash.
Okay. Makes sense, yeah.
They might have sold, they might have sold it to run by.
Well, you got me in the right track, then, so find out tomorrow.
These will weigh in quickly. Discreetly and then,
Oh, okay.
You got it, whether you
Yeah.
want them or not.
yeah.
2 weeks later.
Yeah. When was that?
The setbacks all go
Very,
back to
very
the original townships too, right?
Yeah.
The setback for lots or something.
It'll vary by zone.
Most of
In each township.
Okay.
Go
Get our website, times.gov.
I guess there'll be some of these now, there's municipalities. That
If I can think about it. It was a while ago, so I'm talking like last
Takes
summer.
these,
There are ordinances that they have.
All right, yeah, because I went to Franklin Township's, their website, was there, but it was, yeah,
Two people.
hard to get through.
We have, for most of them, we have direct links to ordinances.
Things under three, so I came in.
Yeah, there's a 1 acre lot over there I want to buy, and build, so I need to see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna call the,
It's right on the hill, right on, I think it's called High Street.
Yeah.
It's right on-
I'm gonna call the May meeting of the Huntington Township Planning Commission to order. Public comment on agenda items. Hearing any. Approval, we need to approve the minutes of the April meeting. Everybody have a chance to read those?
Yep.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented? Hearing any, I entertain a motion to accept the minutes for record.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Jeff, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Marlon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. All right. Next item, reorganization. Annual reorganization, so I'll need chairman, vice chairman, and secretary, so I need open the floor to nominations for chairman.
I'll nominate Ted.
And I'll second it.
Is there
That was Tom and Jeff.
Yep.
a second? Is nothing else?
I make a motion that we close.
Okay, motion made to close. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We needed a second on my motion.
Yeah, I'll make it, I'll second that motion.
Okay, thank
To
you.
close the nomination.
Yeah. Should I go through?
Yeah.
Yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next is vice chairman. Open the floor for nomination for vice chairman.
You have to vote on chairman. Even though there's only one candidate, you still have
We,
to vote on it.
we really did, but we were out of order on it. So, okay, so let's vote on, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We had a second on the chairman after we closed the nominations. So we should vote to confirm Ted as chairman. All in favor?
All in favor? Go ahead.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So moved. All right, now vice chair. Open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
I'll nominate Tom Strife.
Okay, Tom Strife has been nominated. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Second. Roxy? Any other nominations? Anything? Not? What's the next?
Somebody should close the nomination.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to close that.
I'll second it.
Somebody should close it.
Oh, yeah, just second.
I'll close it again.
Okay.
Okay.
Jeff seconded.
Jeff second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
That was closing the nomination.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we vote on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Have a good one, yeah. All those in favor of Tom Strife for vice chairman?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. And then we have secretary. Open the floor for nomination for secretary.
I'll nominate Roxy.
And I'll second
Okay. Is there any?
Jeff and Marlon?
it. Tom.
Tom.
Tom, okay.
Is there any? Okay.
I'll make a motion to close those nominations.
I'll second.
It's been made and seconded to close nominations. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those in favor of Roxy's Salt as secretary?
Aye.
Opposed? right, moving on, it's zoning officers and engineers report. Scott.
My engineer's zoning report is the same one I gave last week to the supervisors. It was only a couple of days ago, so I didn't see a need to revise it. There were 5 building permits issued in April, single-family home. In addition, rooftop solar, a deck, and one for JVI's fuel dispensing equipment. The zoning permit was also issued for SQMA for their sports track. Second item is about the bowling alley. We covered that
Before
last-
you leave that, the fuel dispensing is for their own use?
Correct.
Okay. And the, what's the address of the single-family residence?
That would be in your permits list.
Which one?
Oxford Road.
That's 4756 Oxford Road, Doug.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, it's on our zoning permits.
Yep.
Sharp turn there.
14.
Okay, thank you.
Plans reviewed. The Ron Miller plan was conditionally approved by the supervisors last week. And we also have the Townsend plan. And that's on the agenda for tonight.
Anything else?
Any questions?
Great. New business, is there any, nothing new brought in? Okay, I guess we move along to old business, move right along here. Townsend plan,
This is what we talked about previously. It's in the borough and 2 townships. The surveyor asked me to act on his behalf tonight.
has the borough and Latimer Township?
Yes, the borough and Latimer Township have both approved the plan. They've addressed all my comments.
That's basically the lot 1, and
Yep,
the
the
remainder is
one
lot
that's,
2.
the one that's hatched.
That's all, that's out of.
That's all in the borough. And sewer planning was taken care of by the borough, since that lot is in the borough.
Do they have public sewer in that? Is
I think they do. I think it just ends right around in here somewhere.
It don't matter, it's not in there.
Grant onto it. We can't catch it.
I don't see it on the. But it's really close to it.
Yeah.
It's either right before or right after it.
It's irrelevant. 'cause
It's not relevant.
It's not ours.
Yeah.
The same place.
Okay.
Basically, what's left in the town, there's no change to what's in Huntington Township.
Correct. No change.
So what's asked of us right now?
Basically, sign off.
Approval. Yeah, there's no outstanding conditions. The plan's been signed by the owner, signed and sealed by the surveyor.
There's nothing for us to do with the sewage module or anything.
Nope.
It's all in the borough.
Already been approved
Sorry,
by
been
the
signed off.
Lattimore.
Where's the borough's signature?
Right there by the creek.
Borough Council.
Okay.
Borough Planning.
All right, okay. Okay.
Does anyone have any questions about the plan?
Okay, I move that we approve the Townsend plan, I guess it's officially called, the Townsend plan.
I'll make that motion.
I made.
He made the
No,
motion.
yeah,
I'll second that.
yeah,
Second.
Yeah.
Are you approving it without conditions?
We don't have any, right?
Right, there's no.
Yeah, there's
outstanding
no
conditions.
condition, so yes, we are unconditionally approving the plan.
We can sign the plan tonight then.
Yes, you can.
Okay, there's been a motion made and a second. Is there any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Okay. So you got a bunch of signs.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yep, okay. Thank you. Yes.
Keep- Hang on then, or I'll catch them after. Well, actually, that's the same. Next item on old business is streets and sidewalk ordinance update.
It was tabled last month because,
Really, because you weren't
the planning
here.
commission
Yeah.
was wanting
Yeah.
your input. Ted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not print it off again. Everyone had a copy last week. Hopefully you still have that from last month.
And Ted, I think where we're as of last week is, and Jeff, you weren't here either, if you have any comments, but we were comfortable with it. But I was uncomfortable moving it since you weren't here, first of all, and second of all, you would be most likely to have, of any of us, you would be the one most likely to have comments. So I left that with you and your homework, and we were comfortable as it was.
I read through that. Basically, it's replacing those sections.
Well,
Or
it's
supplementing.
adding reference
Yeah.
to include design standards for driveways outside of the land development subdivision process.
And sidewalks. And this goes into the township code.
Correct.
It's not in the subdivision ordinance.
Right.
But these sections that you want to add in there are tied in with the ordinance, so be all tied together.
Mhm.
I don't see any wrong, but I guess,
I'd call it overdue.
yeah, it should have been brought together before. I'm in favor of that.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve it, because I'd have done that last week.
Recommend approval to.
Well, I'm sorry, recommend approval to the supervisor.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Second by Cody. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Down to zoning ordinance discussion.
Am I the entertainment for the evening?
Close it.
The meat and potatoes.
There's extra copies up there for anybody who wants.
Thank you.
Um, Does anybody have a preference for where we start? Because I left off with some handouts last month and there's some things to read while you're home. Or I can jump right into the map and hand it out today, or
Jump in.
What?
Yeah.
okay. So what I put together in the map that was handed out here, we identified like four areas that we wanted to look at in terms of starting to put what actual zoning, because last month I handed out the description of potential zoning districts. Big list of permitted uses that would go in, various zoning districts that you'd have to choose from. And we identified four areas that to, what would this look like when you turn those like roughly drawn circles into an actual zoning districts. We were looking at the area around the interchange, the area down Old Harrisburg Road, the area down closest to the 234 interchange, and then the 94 corridor, and the area, the residential, what's currently a residential zone around York Springs. I didn't get that far because as I was going through this, I figured there's like 3 or 4 to talk about. That was probably enough for one night. So we'll go there. I'll jump. Actually, there's an easy one to take care of. Up in the map, there's a purple section up in the top corner.
Yep.
Those are all of the Nous properties in your township. There's more Nous properties up there. They're just not in yours. The only little thing there that I know we said we would try to keep it to parcel lines. The only thing that's a little bit weird there is there's right under where the I in Idaville on there. There's like a little purple triangle there.
Yeah.
That property actually goes down into Tyrone Township and comes back up. It's separated, in your township, it's separated by the Hubbard property in between. I don't know that that's gonna fly, but that's a different story. It's only there because, again, the rest of the property swings down into Tyrone Township. There's not much you can do about it.
How's Hubbard zone? How's that property zone?
It's currently in your residential agricultural district. It's as far as I understand, it's an active farm. So I wouldn't recommend putting it in that same district there. The only flip side is that one little triangle of the Nous property is going to probably have to be in the ag district, in whatever the ag district is up there. Simply because it can't stand, it's isolated there.
It's not gonna be by itself, yeah.
Right. So that's what whatever name we call for that, and for that district, that's what it's gonna look like up there. It's kind of almost what it is now.
What does Nous do on that little triangle now? Or do they have,
I think that's in the creek bottom, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
so they don't have a building on it?
No.
Pretty sure it's just woods down there.
It's just a sliver down to the bridge. They
You
operate.
come down Reservoir Road and then they have bin storage and then that goes down the other side of the railroad tracks.
Yep.
You know, it's open ground
Yeah.
and bottom ground. Probably where that's at, you couldn't build on anyhow.
Okay.
It has no road frontage. There's properties between that little triangle, and Idaville Road.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like, it's truly, it's a isolated little chunk that is just the quirk of where the municipal boundary was drawn.
Maybe a well on it, I don't know, there might be a water source on it, I don't know.
Okay.
But again, that's what that district would look like. Based on your current drawing of that, there's a property there that it's actually taxed. I think it's in there. It's like a 6-acre property there that it extends into other municipalities. It's kind of split right now. So the district that would actually expand from what it is now, but only to catch the entire portion of one of their properties. There is another. There are now zone properties that are not in that zone, but there are some of the orchard land that they own around there, and it's actually taxed in Cumberland County, not Adams County.
Okay.
So it doesn't. We have it, but it doesn't necessarily show up on our tax data because it's not taxed here. So, but we didn't include the field farm, the orchard, the production side of what they own in that district. So that's the easy one. We'll go down to the pink district, which is down by close to 234. Now, I had my GRGS people put a little table at the top that shows the acreage and parcels in there, in each district. A little word of warning when you look at those numbers. They're, in all of them that have 15 in it, the acreage and the numbers of parcels are inflated because 15 is an easement.
Is included.
It's not subtracted out of the plot.
No, because there are the right of way for 15. Like if I zoom in here, you see like anywhere from 130 to 170 foot strips between 15, the edge of the road, and parts of the property, whatever property backs up to it. It's a quirk of how 15 was built and acquired. The land, they're essentially right of ways, but they show up as parcels because it's the quirk of GIS. So they're not big, they're these little strips along there. So the numbers are inflated, but it's inflated because it's actually including those little strips of right of way
No,
for 15.
this is the proposed change, correct?
This is the first cut. It's not it's first draft for you.
I
It
don't
can be
want to
changed.
throw water on your parade, but at the township meeting, it was part of the meeting that the residents are gravely concerned about data centers.
Mhm.
And I am as well. And I do not want to do anything that would encourage or make it more desirable for a data center or a warehouse.
Okay.
Now, I know legally we have to provide for every use. My feeling is provide the bare minimum to legally be within the law. And it's a hot issue.
Right.
As you probably well know better than anybody. That's the last thing this township needs.
Right.
And personally, I will do anything that I can as an elected official or an appointed official to try and keep that from happening. All I hear from other, and I'm not talking about normal residents, over the last months, I've talked to several people in other townships that it's pretty much a nightmare. It's a nightmare in waiting. They con you into going to this, and they got unlimited funds, money beyond our imagination, so they can pretty much get what they want by hook or by crook, and I'll do whatever I can, and I'm not speaking for the rest of the board, I'm only speaking for myself. And as a township supervisor, I will oppose anything that I think will encourage or make it desirable for a warehouse or a data center. And we've been getting information from some of these other townships, just some of the things that they're doing, whether or not it is of any value. I know we don't have a lot to offer, and that's okay with me. You know, and so that's just where I stand, and most everybody in the township that I've spoken to is on the same page. And so, I mean, I don't mean to steal.
No.
You're the expert here. You'll have to guide us, and it was on the agenda that they want, we don't need to hurry, but we can't sit on our laurels and hope that it doesn't happen here, because it can. We wouldn't have thought, you hear all the stuff that's going on in Carlisle. They got 700 acres over there. And I know of one of the farmers that sold his property, it was a beef farm, to the data center, and the amount of money that they offered him, you know, it was unreal. We're talking 10 times the going rate.
I went a proposal, this was not even informal, just that was an inquiry of what do you think in another municipality, and they mentioned the numbers and everything. I think I've said this before. The township told me as part of the planning process there what they said, and the consensus was you feel like the biggest financial idiot in the world to say no. The dollars they talk about are so big,
so enormous,
you know.
yes.
It really requires you to swallow hard and say, you know, because most people faced with the you mentioned that you're a person, you know, it can, the dollar sign they show you is so
Yeah.
big that it's hard to.
It is, and they know this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, it's it's almost like David and Goliath.
So I'll start by talking about the one up in Middlesex Township in Cumberland County. It is approved. They're starting to move. There's also a legal appeal up there. It's the attorney that's representing the opposition is the same attorney that successfully defeated the solar farm project down in Mount Joy Township here in Adams County. I've talked to him before. He's aggressive, you know, and he's willing to try unique things. His argument that he's making there is an interesting one because it impacts one of the ways that some municipalities have accommodated data centers, and that's what we call overlay zones. What they did there was they have an overlay zone that covers I think it's 4 or so parcels that project sits on. That's the only place where they allow it. What he's saying is that's spot zoning, which is a very legal definition. But if they're successful, number one, that's going to really upset some things up there as far as that project is. That has impacts on how you zone for it. I know Strabane Township there's an overlay. There's some others that do as well. Overlays allow you to, you know, permit it in one specific place. Well, you know, like in say one portion of your commercial district, but not the whole district, not the whole township. You know, so whether that holds up legally, that's to be decided. There are 2 short-term techniques that can be used. Obviously, you can amend your zoning ordinance to include this one, but you have to decide where. If you decide where and you decide what you want to do, there's another process called a municipal curative amendment. It's section 609.2 or something like that in the planning code. It's the only avenue for municipalities to completely pause development of something. But you only get 6 months to fix the ordinance. So you vote, pass a resolution, then you have 6 months to amend the ordinance to fix the defect. It's very, very quick turnaround time. You pretty much have to know what you want and where you want it and what you're doing when you do it. But what that basically does for that 6 months, you know, if somebody wants to come in and bring one in, sorry, there's a moratorium there for that 6 months. But the point is, you have to do that to put standards in. Which, getting back to tonight, you have to decide where you want to accommodate those things.
So in other words, with that law or whatever you cited there, we could put that in our reserves, so to speak, that we're not going to put it on paper, but if one does come in, we have it drafted or whatever where we can then implement it.
Well, you'd have, if your attorney would go through that process, you'd basically give you a 6-month window where you're working on putting standards in your ordinance, and nobody can propose one.
It's just a grace period till you get your shit.
Just recognize
Pretty-
it's a
pretty much.
very short
Yes.
grace
Right,
period.
but what I'm saying is, could we preemptively plan ahead of time? In other words, down at the bottom there in the pink, let's just use one property, one parcel down there that we would say that's our overlay spot, but we don't want to put it in there. We know that come that time, we kind of already got that figured out, so we're not trying to rush around.
I think it's more
Right.
sophisticated.
Well, I'm
than
sure
that.
it is, but can it be
What I would
done
suggest,
and put in reserves in case you need it? I guess is what I'm getting at.
what I would suggest is,
Because to try and do all that from scratch, you ain't gonna do that in 6
Right.
months. But it could be a year or two before we get something, so why can't we start working on that ahead of time?
Right, and if not, we come away from nothing, maybe that's what we come away with tonight, is, because that impacts these three districts that I have shown on here, plus the little gray hatched area over on 94. That's really the purpose of tonight's discussion, is these are your commercial, your industrial, your big ticket, impactful development districts. Where do you want some of these types of uses to go? If you come to some sort of rough consensus tonight, that would give, whether it's your attorney, or whether it's us, or whoever is doing that, a directive to go. You can certainly put it in your current ordinance and use that process.
Now, you said that overlay thing, that's what they're trying right now, so it hasn't been tested yet legally.
It's been used, but that
It's getting
one,
tested in court
It's getting
now.
it's getting tested. I could again, and I'd be interested to know what Todd would think, but I could. It's an interesting argument, but it's the type of argument that, from again, planner hat on. If the courts would sanction that overlays are spot zoning, that's going to break a lot of ordinances, not just those. Like every floodplain
If
district
they
is
say
overlay.
that one goes, it may create a lot of
Yeah.
problems.
Right, like airports. Airports there's a required overlay for airports by another state law. But it's very targeted to a specific use. If you're saying that spot zoning, that's conflicting with another law. Are the courts going to be willing to to break things that badly? I don't know. But to kind of refocus here, the RC district down by 234. It has shows 17 parcels in it, 348 acres. 100. There's one property. There's 131 acres. Another's 97 acres. Another's 38 acres. And then another one's 27 acres. And the rest are either remnants of little fingers of properties that are actually in Tyrone Township, or smaller properties that are just trapped between the larger farms, between 15 and Harrisburg Road, and the rest of their access, which is again down through Heidelberg and Tyrone Township. Given for the conversation we had last time about White Church Road and that side, I drew that side to only include 4 properties. The sports complex, whatever it is.
What was the sports
that?
complex? Yep.
The
Diller property and
Diller,
sign company.
the sign company, and there's another one in there that I'm probably going to take out. It's the Shaw property. It's one of those that has there's a tiny little finger of property strip between White Church Road and the right of way for 15. It was included in there because the lines are so tight that thing. I don't think that needs to be in there. The rest of the property, the other side of White Church Road is not in there. So it's effectively the Old Sports Complex, Diller, and the sign place are the only basically the 3 commercial properties on that side of the road, side of 15.
There's an auto repair business that's been there for quite a long time. I would say that should be included in
Well,
that.
it's on the other side of
It's,
White Church.
it's been in it.
Well, there's a lot in there right now.
Well, yeah,
You don't
but
have
I'm
it
just
here.
saying, you have an existing business, just like the other couple businesses on there that,
So that's the next
No, it's
property
on the-
up
it's on the other
from
side.
the sign place.
It's
That's easy enough to include.
15.
I didn't.
I think I
I'm not
respect
not
to that.
familiar with it, so I didn't know if that was
It's
something.
been there a long time.
I think he bought that because it was commercial, and that's why he put the business in there.
It
You
is-
can't
it is.
get
It is.
Was that triple wet? That's East Triple West.
Yeah, I would like to see that included in that map.
Well, are you unincluding, I don't understand what you're doing here, because are you saying we're gonna take part of what's commercial now, blue on that map, so everybody can see it?
Yep.
And we're gonna make it rural commercial, and you're gonna leave the other part commercial?
No,
No,
No.
it's not, it's,
only the ones, only those
Well, you
four
can't-
properties I
to
mentioned.
Cody's point, you can't do that. You're gonna take out some people's businesses
You're
here.
taking out commercial land on the other side of 15 there at the Kecker property.
yeah.
It's not on this map. It's already commercial on that map and
Yeah.
that map.
So I don't wanna take away somebody's
You know,
commercial enterprise here.
So I tried to draw it, now, the one that, the Rudisill one, I wasn't sure.
You know, people are gonna lose property value.
The Rudisill one, I wasn't sure
Okay.
on that one, so that's one reason I didn't put that, I wasn't sure how extensive that was. That's not a problem to add.
Yeah.
By the land use we did, there's no other significant commercial properties on that side, but besides the old baseball property, the mulch place, the sign place, and there. The rest of them are residential or agricultural properties. The discussion last time led to, we wanted to pare that side of 15 back to what was existing commercial properties. If we want to expand it beyond that, we can. You know, but if you wanted to stick to what the commercial is now, this is what that side of the road would look like. So if there's other ones we want to add, that's fine. You just need to know what they are.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to think about that. Because the other thing is, if somebody bought a property because they expected it to be commercial, because it is, I don't know, I feel very arbitrary saying, you know what, we're gonna wake up one morning and it's not gonna be commercial anymore.
No, it's not commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Right.
That would feel right to
But
me.
even if they're not doing anything with it yet, they just bought it as an investment or something like, so
That's exactly what was done to me and my property.
What?
There was a business there since 1970, and they, commercial business, and they come in and zoned us residential. Tell me that if I close my business now, for 2 years, I can't open it back up.
That's what you were talking about too.
I did that to everybody in the township when they first brought zoning here.
See, I'd rather, first of all, I don't wanna do that. And second of all, it seems like, to the point, if we're gonna be anti-data center, then I think we're better off with rural commercial than commercial, depending on how we ultimately define rural commercial. So that's part of what our thinking has to be here as well.
So,
But does that exclude us from making accessible to total commercial?
Making what accessible?
Well, it all says we gotta provide for whatever business.
Yeah, we still have commercial. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
so
Go ahead.
close out that side. Based on your current map,
Yep.
current zone, commercials are down in this side. It's only essentially moving 1, 2, well, not even full, it's really portions of 1,
Yeah, that's the
2,
problem, is
3,
it's portions that make it
4,
worse. But
5, basically 6, and one of those that's removing is a residential, is a clearly residential property. Next, that goes one past the water repair. I believe that's actually it's a residential property there. Everything else is it's basically a straight line down through the properties there to get to the sports complex. So it's removing portions of properties, all of which front White Church Road, and I believe most of them are residential or large properties with houses and barns on it. There's the Episcopal Church congregation, whatever that's there. that's, half of it's currently in, the half on the west side of White Church is in, the half on the east side is out. So it's not removing a significant number of properties there. It's removing properties that are currently split between multiple zoning districts already. Can add them back in, and so you can see what it looks like if that's what you would like to see. But
I understand not wanting to split properties, because
But they're split already.
Yeah, I know, but at the same token, to change this up on people that may have had plans or current businesses, I don't feel that's right for us to do that to them. So maybe we expand them with those properties that are split. If we expanded it to a property line in the positive, is that gonna be a major shakeup, or are those properties small enough where if we make the whole piece, follow what I'm saying there?
yeah, so
Because it should follow property lines, I agree, but I don't want to take stuff away from people either.
well, then what I'll do is the next iteration here is I'll add those in. The ones that are split in that zoning district, I will add in. Now, I will be perfectly candid with you here. That northernmost line of it, I have to show you because I can't really describe it
Is the
here.
projector broken, or?
Yeah.
This blue line is where a district is now. See it cut it. This is the repair shop.
Yeah.
This is the residence apartment next door. It cuts
There's
off
part
like
of another
a
property.
part of another property.
Yeah, I know. It's a mess. It should have never been done the way it is. I
It
agree
doesn't follow
with
the
that.
corner there. It was just drawn haphazardly, so it
Right.
cuts this one.
But
I
think with,
won't put this one and I put this
yeah,
one.
with logical here, that little sliver is not gonna make or break this property owner's, future development or property values, so that we can, yeah.
Just draw it. I
Right.
forget that. I forget
Right,
that.
just follow that line, right. That should have been done in the first place.
Yeah, it should have.
Wait a minute, you're talking about taking the frontage, that's commercial?
It's
No,
not
Brian.
actually frontage. It's a goofy side triangle.
It should have never been.
Yeah.
The line was drawn. and
Yeah.
it didn't
Yeah.
follow.
It's
just-
not
just
gonna-
this little- it
it's
should've-
not
it should've
gonna
gone
affect
over here in the first place.
What about on the other side of Old Harrisburg Road where that property was just
So,
sold and it was sold as a commercial?
yeah,
Because the frontage, I think, is commercial.
yeah, and it splits it.
It's,
At least the Kepler farm.
it would be
Three parcels, wasn't it?
between
Yeah, right there.
Oxford and
This here.
Willow.
These.
Is it that one?
There's two on one side, and one on the
Yeah,
other.
it's
Yeah,
right here.
All those lots there
Okay.
have all been,
There's three of them.
that one, this one was also sold too, but that's part of it right
But this part up here was never in.
there. Correct, right, it's just the lower.
So if it wasn't in, was it in
What they
commercial?
think
I
they-
don't know.
We're gonna do on the road.
Yeah, these.
Or did he just think it was gonna be in commercial when he bought it?
Just the-
The frontage
That was the
is
subdivision.
So the one that we saw subdivision plan for recently, that one was never in commercial.
Okay, well then it's no
That
problem.
one was not.
Okay.
Now, everything to the property to the immediate south of it, so there's that weird shape where there's a
With
little
that
strip
point.
that goes back through there.
Mhm.
The property to the south of that one, that's where that little finger that goes like on the other side of Old Harrisburg Road, where the commercial district was there. I mean, again, it's only the frontage of the properties that are there.
Oh, okay.
It, quite frankly, when it was drawn, it shouldn't have gone over on that side in the first place. There's no.
But it was, and that's the same thing we dealt with over on White Church Road when they wanted to put the ballpark in. The frontage of that property was commercial, so there you are locking up a property. Should never been that way in the first place. We voted to make it commercial because it makes sense. Front of your property is commercial, that's the main part of your property.
So if you take all of those properties in, that would put another 40 acres that goes back onto Oxford Road. um, 14 acres, 10 acres, 16 acres. So you're at 55, 65, 79, 8, let's call it 80 acres there. You know, that is basically, you know, extending that commercial district from Old Harrisburg Road, basically to encompass everything on Oxford Road, up to the residential properties that are on the other side of the road from Rock Chapel.
So now you're creating a bigger zone to make it more attractive to data centers.
Well, or anything,
Or anything.
commercial.
Well, yeah.
I,
That's the hot topic.
I mean, I get that it was, you know, the line was drawn there and the properties were split. But that's, truthfully, that's not really a commercial setting.
No.
You know,
Right.
It's a rural setting. You go back up that road towards the Rock Chapel, it's a rural setting
Yeah, that's not
there.
commercial.
I mean, if you want, I can show it if you want. I mean, it's yours. I'll have the maps show whatever you want to see. But we talked before about making Old Harrisburg Road the cutoff,
Basically.
the cutoff there. You know, if you want to see what it looks like, I can.
I'm gonna make one other point, though, and I'll be quiet about this. I don't think we should be using this process to manage the data center issue.
No.
We can use writing zoning for data centers and overlays to manage the data center.
Correct.
That's where I am.
We're not-
Why
we're not
affect
at
all
that
the other
point.
township and what other people wanna do because of one
Right.
issue?
We should reuse this process to do what we originally set out to do with this process.
Correct.
We should be
And-
getting our zoning thing to take care of the data thing.
Yeah.
Instead of having the other stuff.
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
that's the way,
and
you're right.
we can actually minimize or mitigate the probability of data centers if we do this process right, but we don't have to use this process with that ultimate objective.
Correct.
So let me ask this another way. And really, the big three of objectionable uses at the moment are solar farms, data centers, and warehouses. And that's what it is. Those are the big three. It's changed over the years. Those are the current big three.
Those are the big three.
You know, got to provide from somewhere. You know, they're objectionable. So if it's not something you necessarily want to encourage, okay. You don't have a super big industrial area
Correct.
to stick them in. So you
God
gotta
already
stick them.
arranged for us to discourage all three
Right,
of them.
right. You
But I
know,
don't wanna step on the rest of the community's ambitions or other businesses just to stop a couple things that may never come down the road anyway.
right. Agreed.
And we don't need to.
Right.
No.
So let me ask, is it safe to assume that let's take solar farms, it's an easy one. It's usually either the industrial district, the ag district, industrial commercial district, or ag district. I would assume that you don't want it in the ag district.
It's already not allowed in our ag district, so you can do more than assume it. That's the way our code is
Right.
written as we sit here today, on purpose.
Right, so then the question is, which of the three districts do you want? The area you want, you know, the one we just talking about, commercial district, other things.
Right.
Warehouses and data centers, they have two different impacts.
Yes.
Warehouse is vehicles and light and other sound.
And a lot of space.
And
Yep.
land hogs.
Yep. Yep.
Data centers are the same thing, just without the trucks. Without the trucks and a different
Yeah.
type of noise.
And.
Water and electric use.
Water and electric.
And electric.
Yeah.
Right. So, which, you have the area down around Heidlersburg, the area around the interchange in York Springs, there as the two current areas, just we kind of talk about what the map looks like. Do you think that data centers and warehouses are appropriate in the setting around the 94 interchange?
No.
And they're gonna go down to Heidlersburg anyway, because what data center is gonna buy a 15-acre piece of ground anyhow?
They're small pieces.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of.
There's only one spot they're gonna go in this township, and that's down at the bottom there, in all them places. And that's where it should be anyway, if it's gonna go in somewhere.
What are you defining as down at the bottom?
Down where your road, your neck of the woods.
It is, and,
Heidlersburg.
Off of Hyden, yeah,
Yeah.
White Church isn't enough road,
That's-
but off of Old Hyden.
They're gonna be in that section of the commercial
Yeah.
district. Any of them three we're worried about. that's
And
where-
those are, that's tough even there, but you're right, that's,
If
if
they're
they were
gonna
gonna
pick
go
somewhere,
somewhere,
that's
that's
where
where
they're
they
gonna
should go, yeah. Okay,
So, now, if you notice on the map, I have an area there, they're hatched in the gray lines up on 94,
Yes.
around
Yes.
the school district and et cetera.
yep,
That is that's 94.
yep,
It's one of the three highest classification roads in the county,
Yeah.
along with 15 and 30.
yep.
It does not have utilities. It has the road, the access.
Great road.
For what we've seen, we concur that putting those uses near the population areas is a recipe for problems. Right, so that would seem to preclude the commercial district. You know, the area that Cody talked about down in Heidlersburg, there's not as many people down there. There's still some in the village. There's less. But those two areas both have utilities nearby
And road, yeah.
and road access. The area over on 94 that's hatched has the road access and not near populations. It doesn't have utilities. It's also more of an active farming area. So it depends on what you would want. Now that area over there might be more of the overlay type.
Andy, which area is more active farming, are you saying? Because I don't see much difference between those two
They're
areas.
both pretty active.
Between Keller's and all this out here and Davis's and over here. Which one did you say was more active?
Well,
I wasn't following you.
I was talking up
Okay.
here. Up here, but this is Connolly
And
and Keller, I believe.
is any of their farms preserved out there at all?
I don't think
No.
so.
The
They're not?
only property in these settings I looked that's preserved is this one, which is the farm. There's the split here on Baltimore Road where it has the Y goes on either side of the barn.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not-
down Hankey's.
But
was-
it
yeah.
goes
West
over
Hamptons.
here.
Yeah.
That's preserved in Land
Okay.
Conservancy. That's the
Sure.
only one.
I was hoping one of Keller's was, because that would make that all moot point if that was,
No.
No.
okay.
I don't think that's it.
So were you getting to a question?
Well, my question was, the areas where you have utilities have varying degrees of people. The area where you don't have people has land, but not utilities.
Yep.
So, as you're making your decision here, thinking about this, that's something to think. Now, we have I've designed in the rural commercial versus the commercial versus commercial industrial, whatever it might be, precisely to give you the option to split these uses amongst various different districts based on where you think they best fit in the municipality. So for example, if you wanted to allow the solar farms in the commercial district. Okay? Properties are small, probably not gonna happen, but.
Probably not gonna.
That's, you know, there. If you wanted to allow data centers in the rural commercial, because that's where the land is, okay, it's fine, that would be not there. You wanted to put warehousing by the interchange, because that's where the roads are, okay, it doesn't have to be down there. By having separate, right now you have one district, by having separate districts, that allows you that choice to put it in one place and not have to allow it in the other. That's the point there. What I'm suggesting here with the area on 194 is that gives you a third option to put those uses somewhere, depending on how you want to do it.
Yeah.
So.
And we have a logical argument,
Right.
if challenged.
So, what I'm trying to present you with here is options to think about for these type of uses, depending on, so that you have options to put it. You're not limited by just one zoning district. So if I put it in, this zoning district has to be in all these places. We don't have to do that. But it's going to require figuring out where you do want that
Now,
to be.
does that give the potential investor or whomever more choices? Meaning that, well, if I don't like this location, maybe I'll go with there.
That would, yes, if you use the same zoning district in all three locations.
Exactly, what you're
You
talking
gotta-
about is to
you
give
got
them
naming them all
less
three
choice.
different things, and
Well,
that takes care
I
of
just
that.
give you.
And write
for
different
instance.
code for
Yeah,
for
not
three
that
different places.
I don't, my thinking is, don't give them that option.
Yeah,
Right. So-
my answer to your question is no, because what we do by having different choices is write code that
Yeah, to-
fits in those
for
choices.
each district.
So
Right.
when you come here with a small data center, you're gonna say, the only place I can really put that in
Is right
Huntington
here.
Township is here.
And these are the
And
rules.
And these are the rules,
And
and
if you-
if you can fit it in, it's not the end of the world, because we thought about it.
Yeah.
And we wrote the good
Okay.
code to.
And that's what I was.
Instead of, you got 6 places to put it now, and we don't want that.
No,
Yeah.
that's why I asked the question. I
Yeah,
was
so-
hoping that's what you were alluding to.
So for example, you could say, okay, we're going to allow the utility scale solar in the commercial district. We're going to allow data centers in the RC district. And we're going to allow warehouses in an overlay we put over on Carlisle Pike.
Yeah.
You know, or we're gonna allow data centers and overlay, and a little overlay over on Carlisle Pike.
Yeah.
We're gonna allow, you know, warehouses around the interchange. We're gonna allow solar down by Heidelberg. You have that, that's what I recommend, by separating those into different districts, from a zoning interpretation perspective, if a use is specifically listed in one district, that means it is not permitted in the other districts. The only way it's permitted in multiple districts is if you list it in
If you
multiple
let it,
districts.
yeah.
You know, or if you apply that district to other places. That's why overlays become popular.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to customize a specific area to a specific use.
Yep.
What I mentioned about that the data center up in Cumberland, in Middlesex Township, is somebody that's trying to say, I think you're pressing that a little bit too far.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what we would do here. We'd write standards for each use.
Yep.
And we put them in one area only.
Yep.
And we'd go from there.
Yep.
Now, to give you some ideas here, the commercial district, as I've drawn it, and what I did up in the commercial district was, especially the area down towards Carlisle Pike, all I did was include full properties there. It currently cuts the Harley property, the Hershey property, basically in half. I just included the whole thing. You know, we could, you know, it goes a little further down on South Ridge Road than I've drawn it. But have that in the rural mixed use, which is a different issue. It certainly could go further down there if you wanted. But just those current properties, the largest is less than 40 acres. If somebody wanted to compile the properties that are like immediately adjacent to the interchange to develop something bigger, you're talking about 170, but they're putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 properties, different properties
Really
together.
tough to do. Yeah.
Right. So it's not impossible.
Yeah.
The properties in
And even
that
that, you
are
go through all
not
that
big.
trouble and you still have 170 acres, which is de minimis for most of what
Oh,
we're talking
yeah.
about.
Correct.
So now, for your setting in these uses, I don't want to talk performance standards too much in advance of the uses, but especially for the data centers and warehouses, I'd probably recommend writing it with what I call floor area ratio, which basically limits the amount of square footage that can be built based on the property size. So,
Yeah, fine, I like that.
so if you have like, here's a 20-acre property. You know, like a floor area of like 0.2, that would be 174,000 square foot building is the max that could be built for a warehouse or for a data center.
That preserves some of the green space on the property.
Right.
Yeah.
The idea is that the impact use, they have to limit the size. You want a bigger building, buy more land. And now you
It's
you
4
have.
acres of floor space on a very large property. That's
So.
the kind of limitation that makes a lot of sense.
Right, it's, you know, it's, again, it's an urban technique.
Yep.
But it
would work here.
we think it works to get to, it gives them, it's not rigid, you know, limiting the maximum size with some random number you pick. They want more, they can try to acquire more. That's the technique I would recommend using to try to put some controls on how big they can get.
Yep.
Now, they're not gonna like it, but that's not.
I hope they don't like it
your
enough to go
problem.
somewhere else. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's the whole idea
Yeah.
here.
Andy,
Yeah.
what did you call that?
Floor area ratio.
Okay.
So we know we have those tools at our disposal, but
Yep.
until we get the maps down to where those spaces are gonna be, we can't even,
Right.
so we should
Right.
focus on that first. We know we
Right.
have those tools.
Well,
but-
we should also start on the data center zone.
And I
We
think
should get
that's
started
all
with
gonna
that.
happen down at the lower RC.
Well, no matter where it happens, and I don't disagree with that, we should start writing it now,
Right.
so we have.
So we have it.
Yeah,
Because we got into
Yeah.
trouble many years ago with Mr. Mumal when we didn't have any zoning.
right. So where is the county on this in terms of giving help to the townships on getting it started? Anywhere?
Or what, for data centers?
Yeah, data centers.
I mean, I have a model that we've written in other municipalities that
Okay.
I can put together and send
Could we
to.
have maybe copies of that to look
Yeah,
at?
let's get started.
Yeah.
Okay?
We can
I mean,
start
I can write flesh that out a little more than it's written for in another municipality. I have to pull some stuff
Okay.
that's in their ordinance
Yeah.
to put for you guys.
Okay.
But there,
Well, it's easier to start with something
Yeah.
than Franklin County or something. I'd
Yeah.
rather not start with
So,
Okay.
and we can go from there. But, you know, that's like 2 tracks here. One is that
that.
running.
Yes,
running
we are talking
presently.
2 tracks. Yep.
The second question is, which you still have to kind of answer, is where do you want to put it?
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I mean?
that area you have in gray up by the school, I would hate to see warehouse or more truck traffic up by the school district itself. I mean, I wouldn't want to see that. I think in regards to traffic, the solar or the data center is gonna have less traffic going on than a warehouse type deal.
Correct. A
So
lot
I-
less.
So
A lot
one of
less.
those two might fit to have it up near there.
Wait, I'm sorry, which 2?
The solar fields or the data center may suit better closer to the school than a bunch of trucks coming in and out.
See, I feel like we're already where we want to be in solar. This
Yeah.
was very
We
conscious
pretty much got
that it was the commercial industrial, and if we're challenged, we'll deal with it, but it was commercial industrial. We don't have large commercial industrial. And that's,
It's a good thing.
yeah, and so I don't think we have to worry about providing any more for solar than we have. Because I think
But
we're
if
in
we're
good
gonna
shape.
rename these, then we're gonna have.
We have to be conscious of
Right.
that. Yeah, you're right. But to your point, if we look at that corridor and say, is there some place or some places? Because I don't have an argument for, you know, a small data center. No one's gonna put a big data center in our township. It doesn't make
We
any sense.
don't have the property big enough for it,
Yeah,
I mean.
but first of all, you recognize, first of all, I think the days of large data centers are already over. Everybody figured out that they're hated and they're being fought everywhere. But data centers aren't over.
No.
This is the future, and just to be abundantly clear, AI is here. These data centers are a requirement, not a luxury for AI. They're a requirement. They're not as required to be as big as they are, and those sorts of things. Pennsylvania's high on the list. I've talked about that before in this meeting. I think we're 7th in terms of preference of states. So they're here. They're going to be here. They're going to be sliced up and diced in a way that they're more tolerable and more manageable. So my point, and I've said this, I said it the last meeting, I'll say it again. Give me a small data center over ruining farm property forever with a solar field, or over the truck traffic of a warehouse anytime. Now, there are issues, you have to plan for it, you have to deal with it. I'm not saying that's simple, but there are advantages to the data center over both of those others, especially small data centers. So I won't say that again, I've said it twice. So what I will say though, is that I think having a conscious approach with good standards for a data center in an area like we're talking about south, I'll call that the south area off of Old Harrisburg, or even the north area off of Carlisle Pike, that's a whole rezoning issue though. Both of them are rezoning, just different rezonings. That's something for us to consider. But in the meantime, that's track one. Track two is we should get rolling with data center code. And my understanding, and I'm not the lawyer, but my understanding of once we have started the code, we can represent that to somebody walking in with a data center.
Yeah.
I know it's not perfect, but it's a start.
So then we need to look at what we got here and we need to figure out where we wanna put it.
Yes.
And start getting the rules wrote down.
So I'll finish my speech. That's
So what I'm hearing is your current commercial district, commercial industrial district is where the solar is and where you want it to prefer it to remain.
That's certainly my answer, and that was consciously achieved through many discussions in the past few years.
Let me get to the warehousing, because that's, I think, an easier question. Which setting is, each setting has its own issues.
Yeah.
Certainly up by the interchange, it has direct access to the interchange. So it would, have there'd be less roads it would go through to get to where it needs to go. But it's gonna dump it onto 91, 94 or around there, and it I'll go north-south, it might go up to Carlisle and down to Hanover.
Right.
If you put it down in the pink area, near another interchange, but it's all going through the main intersection in Heidelberg to get there.
Correct.
Not your township, but it's your community, still your community.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the land down there might be attractive for that, but
Could be.
it might not be a great neighbor to Heidelberg and that sort of thing.
Yeah, a lot of truck traffic.
And some sort of overlay over on Carlisle Pike, is not near people, but it is near the school.
Yes.
So it's adding traffic there. But even if in the commercial district, currently around the interchange, it's still could add trips to 94 that would go that way anyway. Again, plant the county perspective here. I don't think putting warehousing down by Heidlersburg is a great idea, simply because you're asking to put it through. If neither the intersection Heidlersburg or the interchange here at 94 is great for it, but the interchange at 94 can be more easily fixed to address the problem than the square, what you call a square in Heidlersburg is.
Okay.
That's, again, from a transportation perspective, I think it's more logical to be able to improve things up there than it is down in Heidlersburg.
Up by the school you're talking about.
Well, I'm either by the school or by the interchange.
Interchange at 94.
Interchange.
The 9415 interchange, that's what he means, the interchange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's if it comes through there, now, the flip side is, if something like that did come through, they might be forced to make some significant upgrades there, which are needed in the first place.
Which aren't.
Well, it's sort of like the convenience place, the state said, you ain't gonna put it here unless you put a light, do all kinds of stuff, and they said no way.
Yeah.
Right. So,
It may force them to do something like that.
Or force them to not
To
come
not-
here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so.
It may take care of itself. though.
yeah, that's right.
For the solar and the warehouses, I think those might have less impacts in the commercial district than in the other two settings. Data centers, again, from what we know, data centers need to be kept away from people, is what it boils down to. It's as long as we don't like it, if we don't see it, we might not like it, but we might not complain about it. That would point it towards either the area down by Heidlersburg, because the properties are big enough there that it can be centered and pushed
Yeah.
out.
Fit in.
Or over on 94, where there's land, it doesn't require a lot of traffic outside of the construction phase.
Right.
So it won't be adding a lot to
Next to none.
that.
Yep.
So again, I don't think that use is appropriate by the interchange. Only simply because there's it's too near people.
Too many people around.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a
I'll
use
accept
that
that
use
argument.
that doesn't go well with people, around population centers. So I think that points that specific use either down by Heidlersburg or over on 94. So that, if you were looking for my 2 cents, that's
Yeah.
what I would present you to think about.
And would you do that in an overlay? At least in one?
For a short term, like if you're doing something to do it now, immediately, probably. And I say that because if you simply stick it in your commercial district, that's gonna permit it in both of those blue areas up there.
Yeah, unless,
And that might not be what you want.
no, that's not.
So you're either doing it as an overlay down by Heidlersburg, or
Yeah.
an overlay over there, and we roll the dice. That case isn't gonna be decided anytime soon.
Right.
So I don't think that would be an issue. There's precedent in the county that Strabane Township uses an overlay, so it's not it's not terrible.
Right.
But so that's there. Now, the flip side is, again, I don't know the property owners over there. I don't know if anybody, on the 94 side, I don't know if anybody does. I don't know what reaction might be. I really don't
Being
know.
up by the school
Yeah.
wouldn't be good. I can tell you that.
I don't know them, so I'm.
I'd probably say
I'm
it's
saying
not
this
gonna be
looking at-
popular anywhere.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but really not gonna be good with some of them. They're probably not gonna be afraid to let the township know about it. some people keep to themselves, but, I mean, I would say the overlay down near Heidelberg seems like the quickest and safest bet at this point, in my opinion.
There at the school, half of that is game lands
Yes. On the, well, no, on the.
that you have marked
Well,
from
just
that gray
bottom
area.
of the road now.
Well, yeah, but on,
It's just probably.
no, on this map? On that one, yes. This one, no.
Yeah,
No,
this
but
one.
I'm just saying that is game lands.
Yeah, that's why the next one I
It
cut
wouldn't
it
be,
off.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be
yeah.
included, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not even convinced I'd include the school in
Mhm.
something over there, just to be clear.
Right, it would just be.
But let me
the
go back to
section.
something you said. If we consider all commercial as equal, I take your point, but it isn't, doesn't have to be equal, because we can have rural commercial and we can have commercial. And we can say X is allowed in commercial, but like solar, but not in rural commercial.
Correct.
Okay. Because I think we're gonna end up with some of, for instance, we could have some of the bottom piece, we could do what you said on this map, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Call it rural commercial, but have an overlay in there, for something. We can have an overlay in there for the data center in a spot where we say, that's the only place it's gonna work, but at least it's someplace. As an example, we could hypothetically have rural mixed use up on 94 at the school, and not have an overlay in there for whatever we had an overlay in. So I'm only reacting to that because the implication, what you said, is all commercial is equal, and all commercial doesn't have to be equal. We
No,
can
but
make it
right-
unequal.
But right now it is.
Yeah, I know.
So we would have to do something
We have to change.
with the supervisors now, while we're in the process of doing this, is how I take it.
Yeah, we do.
So we would have to do an overlay in that specific commercial zone, because currently everything is treated the same.
Yeah.
And that would have to be done like soon through the supervisors, and then when we finalize this, that would change that.
That would be an approach.
Aren't
yeah.
we're making these decisions and then recommending to the Board of Supervisors.
Correct.
So we have to do this before we get.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
good.
we have to
That's
have
good.
this, not
Right.
go to the supervisors now.
Well, we could.
We're not ready yet, yeah.
Yeah, we're not ready.
Yeah.
Right, like, there's two separate processes, your tracks you're going down here. One is wanting to get some protection in place for data centers now. And two is modernize the ordinance.
Right.
What I'm saying is, that's fine. I can help you through that.
Mhm.
But it would be helpful long-term if when we do the current state data protect for data centers, is we're doing that in the setting where you, long-term, you view that is where you want to accommodate that.
Right.
So, because what we don't want to do is do that now and then change it
Have to change it, yes.
put it somewhere else.
Right.
That's gonna be, you can do that, but that could be problematic. Somebody else could view that as problematic.
Right.
So if your intention is to put it over 94, or put it down by Heidelberg, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, that's the decision point that we kind of need.
Not change it.
And again, I realize it's one specific use, and we're not talking about use for the whole revision here. But because that one has another separate lane that needs to be done, we gotta talk about that one specific use.
No.
Right.
Now.
So is there a way to do that now with that one specific one where we don't have
There
to
is.
change it later? That's what we should do.
If you don't wanna have
Right.
to do something now and then
No.
a year from now, it's like, change, you gotta modify it. We
Correct.
try and get it right the first
I mean,
time.
if what you're saying is that
Old Harrisburg.
Data center.
That's what I think.
Yeah, the problem
I mean,
is
I see us working on this and working on the ordinance for data centers at the same time, and then with that conversation and working on both, you'll figure out where you wanna put it,
Just do it all at once and be done with it.
you know?
And I think we can probably do
I just talking personally on this, but I think that place to put the data centers down there, old Harrison Park Road down in that area. Put the overlay on that for now.
For now.
If that's what you wanna do, I mean, put an overlay on that down in there and I can't see them going up along 94.
No, the other thing to keep in mind is even, they are resource hogs. And because of that, they need to be near places, things that provide those resources. They need to be near water service, they really need to be near a place to pull from the grid.
Or create their own.
Right, so they need access to a transmission line or a substation or something like that to get in, to pull from.
There's a big transmission line right there at Harrisburg, right?
They're working on it right now.
Yeah, they've been putting
They're
poles and
working on it
stuff
right
out
there.
there.
It's
You're
not
giving
big
them their
enough.
extension cord
It's
right
not big
there.
enough. It's not big enough. They need much more than that, so.
They
Andy-
throw the money at it if they
I
need
know,
it.
the point is, we're not an automatic place for them,
Right.
but.
Yeah, there's a
and-
place poles there,
Yeah.
Heidelberg, it were no good.
But there's just, there's a substation right on the other side
Can
of
you
the
make
road
them
too.
generate their own power?
Well,
It's not big enough.
You got the gas
That's
line.
only one
That's-
fifteen,
that's-
they need
that's
a
different.
500,000.
Is that what
I mean,
it is?
and that's what Marlon just, you said, I wanna
I mean, there's
talk about what
transmission.
you said there, because that's an excellent point. Again, I'm putting my county hat on here. There aren't many places in the county that are great for data
Correct.
centers.
Correct.
There are two that make sense from at least some of the resources they need. One is out by the Hunterstown substation, the Reliant plant. And two is somewhere where there's a substation and the Texas Eastern lines. Because they can pull, if they have to, they can pull the gas out of there to service it,
To run the generators, right?
to run the
There's
generators.
gas lines right down here.
Right.
Oh,
So
right.
there
It's right there
is
at-
that.
That's a
Now,
pretty big
again,
gas.
I fully recognize that people outside this room probably would have a different opinion of that, and that's perfectly fine. Unfortunately, we can't in Pennsylvania say, okay, we're gonna permit this one use only in this location in the entire county. That just doesn't work. I wish it did, but it doesn't. But Marlon brought up the gas lines there, and that's a good point, because that's something that area down there has that nothing else does. So,
Yeah, I was just sitting back here observing. What I'm getting is, and from Tom's comment, is that what's important is that we get something on paper so that we're not having this come in next week.
That's what I
So
was
while
trying
you're
to
sitting
get
here
at.
doing mapping and trying to figure all this out, you got this big opportunity, a window
Yep.
open where there's no regulations. So why can't you at least put something on paper for the districts that we have already established?
Right.
so let me.
Maybe it ain't that simple, but.
No, it's close. We can begin to formulate the standards of use for because the main concern right now is the data center. Formulate the standards of use. We can start with what you've already drafted. And then additionally, we can decide what's our least unfavorable place right now to put this, and take that approach. And that helps us in both directions. And so, do you have enough to kind of reconstruct this?
I do. Let me ask one question here, because I don't want to contact Todd without asking you guys first. I mentioned the process by which you can get some, what right there said about get some protection in place while you do this. I can bring that up to him, to ask him to see that curative process.
Curative amendment,
To
yes.
see if that's something that he could look into and you talk with the board about if that's a process you want to go down. Again, I have we have an existing model that we've written. It's, you know.
Has it been adopted anywhere? Okay.
Yeah. It's right out of a model ordinance that York County did. A different version of it there. I can have that to, like frankly, have that to you and the whole township by the next supervisors meeting. There. So if that is something that your legal staff would be comfortable with triggering that process, the only way you can get protection in now to protect yourself while you put these standards in is that process. Otherwise.
No, this isn't gonna be a hard, in other words, we can change it. I don't mean before it's adopted though. I mean before it's adopted, we can change it, you know, to tailor it to what we want.
So what I would like to do is write it up, send it to everybody. You can look at it, revise it, and go from there. At the same time, I can have my people do a map of what an overlay could potentially look like.
I guess what I'm asking, as long as we have documented proof that we're in the process, correct? Or not?
Well, the reason I brought up your legal staff is because different attorneys view that process
That's a
differently.
maybe, that's a maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Money to
Because
spend,
we
they'll go
went
back to
down
the
that
town.
path.
It cost money
Yeah.
to do the legal process and the reviews, you know, and it's timely, and it's not every attorney likes it.
Yeah.
So,
Let me ask this
what I'm always
question.
do you want me to put the option on the table for everybody to consider? And then you can decide what you want to do, how you want to do it. I can do the standards and write them
Tom,
by the beginning of June.
let me
It's not a
ask you
problem.
this. I think from the discussion, the RC Pink District is where we're leaning.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong, everybody here, that's where.
for the data center.
So, is there a way that we can say, okay, we're not gonna concern ourselves with the red lines, the yellow lines, and the overlay? Let's get the RC district, what we want it to be, get the ordinance in, and make that done, to where we don't have to do it later. Can we do that one step, get it done in a few months and be done with it?
Probably your quickest way to do it is do an overlay of that blue area down there.
Just the bottom part.
And
That's what I
on the
was-
existing zoning map.
Yeah.
Do that, go with an ordinance, get Andy. you know, have
That's
that
gonna
ordinance.
cover us.
Don't change the boundaries or
No,
nothing.
don't change
Leave it
it.
alone.
Not yet.
The rest of this
Yeah, right.
zoning,
Yeah.
the rest of this has got to take the rest of the year.
Right, that's what I'm concerned
So-
with.
So we just attack that one area, put an overlay on it,
Yeah.
and do an ordinance.
So-
If the solicitor says that's okay.
So I understand. Take that outline
Bottom
down there,
piece.
Yeah.
make that southern part. the-
What it is
the
now, not
overlay.
this, what it is now.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then
Add the overlay.
Find
write
the overlay
that map
in that,
and
that's the
the
most
rough draft
appropriate.
text to everybody,
Yes.
Yeah.
and then.
Yes,
and
not
we-
the whole thing as the overlay.
Right.
Find the
Yeah.
overlay that's appropriate in
One
there.
area.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, I mean, I can, like I said, that part can be done and a draft sent to you before your next
And,
supervisor's
and we
meeting.
can start on the,
This board,
The
can-
ordinance.
this board can make the recommendation to the supervisors on it.
Right.
So that it's in process, something's in process.
Well, that's
So
where I was,
that legally, we've
Right.
started the process of doing that.
My
So, and
question.
I know it's always a question.
Might not save you, but you still.
But we started.
it's a big step in the.
My question is this, because I don't want to incur, have the township incur cost to have Todd read something that I send him
Right.
unnecessarily. Do you want me to send him that curative stuff as has the township considered this as an option?
Yes, but
Yeah,
can we
is
do
that the-
that,
I
because
think
that's
that has
gonna
to be a
cost
supervisor.
township money, I think
Okay. Yeah,
the
the
supervisor's
supervisor.
decision at the supervisor's
We
meeting.
can,
So,
we can make a
let me-
rec-
but
we'll make a
who do you want me
Let the
to,
planning commission.
who do you want me to send, do you want me to
first.
send that to the township, to send it to, who do you want me to send that to?
I would like
What?
to see
I
it.
don't know what you're sending. What do you mean?
I don't, the curative amendment process.
To review the curative
What-
amendment process.
Is that something that is worth triggering while we do
I
this?
wouldn't trigger it because I think we're not gonna need it. But it should be ready to go if we need it.
Yeah.
I don't think we should trigger a curative amendment at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the clock starts. And then if the clock starts, we have 6 months to write
Yeah,
this.
Yeah.
We may need more than that. We may
We're
be
not
better
pressured,
off.
we're not pressured yet, but
Yeah.
we need to get this process moving.
Yeah. So, I guess my reaction to what you would say would be, and you should weigh in here, my reaction would be, Todd already understands the curative amendment process. We've talked about it in other contexts, so
Okay.
having him understand and be ready to go would take some work, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting it doesn't, but he's cognizant of it. And secondly, and asking his assessment of our approach here on providing the overlay in a current commercial area makes sense. I mean, one question I would have, how big does the overlay need to be for us to be credible on this? So that,
The current district would be fine.
I wouldn't do the whole district though. I'd like to do a lot less of the district. That's a big district to say that our overlay is the entire commercial district.
Right, but in that.
Especially some of it doesn't make any sense.
Acreage wise, that area down there is probably 300 acres. That's,
I think we're just talking about the southern portion.
yeah.
Right. Yeah,
It's
some of
Not the
it's not-
entire.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
It's-
We talked about limiting it to 2 roads.
Yeah.
It's probably
the sweet
somewhere
spot.
around 300 acres. In terms of data center, that's nothing.
It's small. Well, that's why I was trying to make it even smaller.
Yeah, between-
No, they're not gonna cross 15,
No.
you know.
No.
Between.
So why
between
pretend
you
it's
It's either
They
gotta be
are.
one side or the other.
We can't be the right side. There's no space on the right side.
Too many voices going on.
Yeah.
Between old 15 and new 15, can we limit the overlay to that stretch?
You can limit to whatever you want.
Yeah.
I think that'd be reasonable to, I mean, they're not gonna go on the other side of new 15, they're not gonna go up on the hill on old 15, so.
So,
I agree with that, Ted.
in terms of what you're saying is draw a box
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, yeah,
By old 15, new 15.
yeah,
That's a reasonable.
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are the places they're gonna try to buy anyway.
They're gonna buy the
not
big
gonna-
farms there.
Yeah, they're not gonna buy anything
Until
else.
2 people instead of 14.
Yeah. Hey, it's
Not
easier
gonna
to throw
cross.
money at 2 people than.
Make that the overlay and initiate a process of developing the ordinance for the data center.
Peachy stuff.
Go through that, just meantime, we can work on the rest of this stuff at
Yeah.
more.
Without getting too clogged up,
Yeah,
detracting from getting other stuff done.
right.
You want me on the northernmost part, make sure. You want just everything that's south of the blue, right?
South of what?
Like this blue line.
Oh, yeah, that only
Like,
makes sense.
This one gets split here, you don't mean to keep it where it's.
Yeah, keep it at the
Makes
old.
sense.
Yeah, this is official zoning right now.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
So we gotta stay within that.
And here.
Right.
Okay.
To do that, don't we need to get the supervisor's permission?
Have him-
We're gonna make the recommendations this year.
Okay, after you do it, show us.
Wasn't data centers on the board's agenda
Yes.
before?
It was, yeah, about data center, yes.
Did-
It was on last month, or last week. yeah.
Did the board take any action?
Part
They
of,
just
no.
said that
no,
we
because
were supposed
We needed some guidance and recommendation from this.
The action
board.
was to ask us to do the work.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
To get
that was
started.
the action.
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So he can draft us the overlay and the rules in it, and then we
Yes.
can take that and say, hey,
Yes.
Supervisors, we looked at it, we want,
This is what we'd like you to do.
yeah, we can't do anything until the supervisors.
Well, it got on the agenda
Right.
because everybody's, it's a big hot issue.
We don't have it now.
Well, I know, we have to come up with something. He's gonna give us a copy, we're gonna look at it, if we're happy with it, we send it to you guys, and then we got something in place.
No.
Then you guys have to vote on it, or?
Right.
We have to vote just the recommendation. We only recommend.
They have something.
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
right.
Okay, so, let me,
Well, you could do something and that's
Feel like you need to
for.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, one conversation, here we go.
let me draw back here to,
Right.
so I know what you want on the current ordinance there.
So you guys
So,
can do anything with that thing?
To this part.
Yeah.
Talking data centers down, data centers,
Do we have one conversation? Go ahead.
we're talking data centers down here.
Yeah.
We're talking keep solar in your commercial industrial
Yes.
setting, rest of that. Talking warehouses, which are currently in that setting too, by the way.
Correct.
Yes.
In that setting. It might not make it into the rural commercial.
It may not,
There.
because we haven't written that yet.
Yeah.
And we're gonna let this area over here alone.
We're gonna think about it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we did conclude to leave it
Okay.
alone.
Yeah, because my question, why are we even, is there a necessity to include that area for anything?
We don't know yet.
I mean-
Because we could be challenged that we don't have enough commercials.
So
That's been a problem from when I moved here.
Oh, okay, so that's the
Here's what I
question.
learned 12 years ago in PSATs, okay? I sat in these meetings just like this with township supervisors, which ours don't even bother to go. When you look at that map, you got problems. And here's why. You got this big township, and then you wanna save it all.
And not
You
enough
say, I'm gonna
commercial.
put some here and here,
Yep.
but that ain't gonna work when the lawyer gets to you. Because, and you can't say, well, let's go over here in the swamp, because they ain't gonna build in the swamp. Because the first thing the lawyer's gonna do is come after you for that. And we don't have the resources to fight those people, they're too big.
That's our risk. You're right.
So
So
how
zoning's-
do they determine enough area?
Your zoning.
Do they take the square miles in a township?
I've seen a
and then
lot
there's
of them
for-
split up in quarters, maps.
So there's no formula that you're aware of that, is there anything?
Well, if there was a formula,
Andy,
we'd
what-
follow
is
it.
there
There
or
is,
not?
the formula is what the court ultimately decides.
Exactly.
And they take into account the type of thing we're talking about. But one advantage we have is we're an agricultural township.
Exactly.
There's a default in this state to preserve agriculture. So we do get a first look in that you're preserving agriculture. That's good. You don't have to have as much commercial as Allegheny County or Philadelphia County. But the point is that there's no magic formula or would follow it. So what we try to do, and what I've tried to do since I got here, is to be reasonable in our approach, that we can defend it if we're attacked. So far, we haven't been attacked by anybody because we're a lousy commercial township. Now, that's not always necessarily gonna be the case, you know, with more development along the 94 corridor, we could start to see some pressure there. The Heidlersburg exit, always ripe for attack. But Tyrone's gonna be attacked before we are,
Yeah.
so watching what happens to them is always a good idea, that's why I go to those meetings. So understanding what's happening around us is helpful, but we do have a default in that we're a agricultural township in an agricultural preferential area in Pennsylvania.
And
I
see,
know I didn't answer your question, but that's the best answer.
Well, but that doesn't mean you're not agriculture either. So if you zone an area commercial, the farms don't go away. That land you're talking about right now is still agriculture.
I know,
It's
still
been
farm.
zoned commercial
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
But you at least have to
So
provide
that's
an
up to
area.
the farmer, not the zoning.
Yeah, it's up to the
No,
property.
well, it's up to us if we don't.
Farmer's
if
gotta
we-
decide whether he's gonna sell his land to the commercial
If
developer.
he can.
If he
it's-
keeps his farm
yeah,
and plants corn, it'll never happen.
If he can,
So,
yes.
the legal case, standard case that planners refer to often, and I forget what the case name is, we call it, it's what we call the path of growth case. And what it basically says is that there is no magic formula. You have to put X amount of commercial, X amount residential, et cetera. What it says is that municipalities that are in the path of growth have an obligation to provide for a amount that is consistent with that path. So that would mean, for an example, that, you know, let's look at Penn Township down in Hanover, where there's a lot of growth coming out of Hanover there. They are in the path of that growth, so they have an obligation to provide for a bigger amount of growth area than a rural township that is not near that. You know, it's not a hard and fast rule, but where municipalities would get into trouble with that is where they're clearly in a growth area that is an active growth. There's a lot of stuff happening and building out and expanding, and they try to put a cap on it by limiting it. That's more likely, not guaranteed, but that's where that path of growth case comes in. You know, so there is no hard number, but there's case law out there that they'll follow. Huntington Township and York Springs are not at that level. You know, you are under obligation to provide for every use. You're not under obligation to provide for the biggest version of every use. You know, you're also, just because the property isn't available doesn't mean you're not providing for it. You know, if you zone property, like take the farms down here at Heilsburg, you're providing for it. Just because they're not for sale doesn't mean you're not excluding it.
Right.
Just because the property owner doesn't want to sell doesn't mean
met
you're providing for it.
You've met the legal precedent, I mean,
Right.
provided for.
Yeah.
You're not under obligation to provide them with a property that can be bought.
That's kind of my,
But-
you're providing there, so if you don't do this, you provided there.
Right.
But it all comes down to what the court said.
Well, it comes down to,
What we've just talked about, well, you don't have enough.
And what enough?
But it was just provided this area, but now it's not enough.
That map has stayed that way almost since 1999, except for exclusion of a couple small spots.
Right.
That's what's not good in the grand scheme of things. It's really,
26 years.
that's a long time. So
It's
if
time-
we
Well, that's what it is, we're
to-
fixing it.
it's time to,
Yeah,
right, it's
yeah.
time to fix it, and it's time to
Yeah.
add some,
So we can't keep going back on what stuff's been for the last 15 or 20 years. We're working to fix it.
right.
So in, this one's current, right?
that's, the colors are the current existing land use.
Okay, so when I said about the property that was just sold on Old Harrisburg Road, and the rumor is that he bought it because it's commercial, it's not.
The road frontage is.
The road frontage.
Not according to this map.
Look at that map right
Zoning,
behind you.
It's
zoning
not-
and use are two different
It's
things.
currently, the current use of it is not commercial.
Correct.
The current zoning might be commercial, but it's not used that way.
So this is not necessarily.
This is not
zoning.
this is not zoning, this is.
Okay.
This is
This
just
is
what's being
existing
used.
All
land
right,
use.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. We didn't talk about it, the gold color there, the rural mixed use district. That's pretty big there. It captures a lot of those smaller properties that have been developed along Old Harrisburg Road corridor there. It goes over on the east of 15 and east of South Ridge Road. It captures a lot of the properties that are currently in that finger of the commercial district that comes down there. It goes back to catch whatever the construction company is back at Green Ridge.
Gravel was back
Green
there,
Gravel.
I'm helping Jay Weaver out now.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, giving him that 105 acres.
So it goes back there. Again,
That could be a very useful
it's
zoning for us
It's-
as we
it's-
develop the bigger plan.
it's a, as I was putting it together and looking at, I mean, it's, it has, some big properties, but it has a lot of properties in the, like, 1 acre to like 6 or 7 acre size.
Yeah.
Big enough that they might be able to get like another residential lot out of it, or they might be able to put a, another, large home business or something that's operated out of the, whole building on the property as like
Yeah.
rural commercial use.
Absolutely.
Big enough to do a lot of that with. It's a, it's very hodgepodge of lot shapes and sizes, indicative of something that developed a lot without zoning.
Yeah.
It doesn't neatly fit into any other sort of district. But that's the full scope of what that would look like. Well, it might pull some things out of it or tweak it depending on what you think. And we certainly could bring that red district downwards. It doesn't go all the way down to where it is now. So you can kind of see the blue area here. Is the existing one, so you can see there's a good chunk of it that's outside of it there. This area is further down to Southridge Road.
Nah, it's blue line, that's what current commercial is.
Yeah, so is down there, and down here it's bigger properties, but it's kind of. So we kind of expanded it outside into some bigger properties around some of the more rural use that they might not be this site, but they might still be something that we would want down there, so. But it kind of fits more with that setting than it does with what you see up there, so. So we didn't cover that, and it's not, it's a, I'll say leftover, but it's kind of.
It's worth covering. I mean, not tonight, but it's definitely worth covering.
So for next, so I have marching orders on the data center text and the overlay there. I'm going to work on fleshing out the map a little more and adding
Okay.
some of the, get to the residential side here and start to add some of the other ones to it. Now they've had this initial discussion here. And we'll see what we get to. I would expect next discussion next month is going to be pretty much dominated by the data center overlay and the standards.
Okay.
And we probably won't get to much of this.
That'll
probably be enough.
It's secondary,
Yeah, I just had that section along 94, Gun Club Road and 94, that area, that got down there at the gray area.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we make that an RMU area?
You could.
There's already some businesses in that.
There are, and that's one of the reasons why it kind of stuck out to us as something to consider. I had not considered that, but that's certainly something it
I
could
think
be.
it fit, it seems like it would fit there. I mean, there's small businesses in there.
Would you like me to show what that would look like in that color?
What's the rest of it?
Yeah,
Rest of
makes
you guys?
sense.
I'd be a yes.
Option.
Yeah.
Cody, see what I'm saying, out there at Carlson,
See, that's something you can do to help your map.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're exactly.
You got a
right.
whole bunch of houses here, you
Yeah.
mark it.
Yeah.
Okay?
I would like
Because
to
you
see-
accepted
And
zoning
we
in
have
1999.
businesses
Show
in
your
our
zoning.
We have businesses. in
Because
our
it
area.
ain't all agriculture like you think it is.
I
No,
It's
it is
not.
not.
I would like to see more of that RMU throughout the township. Now, again, I don't know this, we can decide what that RMU is gonna encompass.
That's right.
Right.
But for instances like my family business, there's no reason somebody can't have a weld shop anywhere in this
It's
township.
been here, I've been in business there since 1970. And
I just talked to a gentleman that lives in Tyrone Township, it's a retired auto mechanic and wants to, work on cars out of his two-bay garage and he can't do it where he's at. And that kind of stuff I think is ridiculous, so.
One thing I would say there is, there's a since zoning has advanced in a lot of ways since your current ordinance, there's a lot of uses that we've created that you can, to encourage that, operating larger businesses
The
on
way it's
residential
been
properties.
is,
There
for
without
everything up
needing-
there in white, if it's not a tractor and something getting planted or an animal, you're out of luck. And
I've been trying,
That needs to
I've been
change.
trying for years
Uh,
to get this
That's something.
point across.
That's something we can work at. and
Yeah, that's not nothing
and
gonna be
this-
decided
yeah,
overnight.
Just to be
we can
clear.
adjust that.
It needs to be worked out.
That was a good point.
Just to be clear, there's a use type and standards in our typical zoning package that would accomplish what you're talking about in other districts beyond just
Right.
this. I mean, you could.
Including agriculture.
Including agriculture.
To your point.
You know,
Right.
I would think of it this way. We talk about like different intensities of residential, like a single-family house, townhouses, apartments, et cetera. For home businesses, you have the no-impact ones, which is no outward, no customer traffic, no nothing. You have a home occupation, which is a little more traffic, smaller inside the house. Then you have another one, which we call cottage industries, which is for, it can be in standalone properties, like a pole building. It can have more intensity, more customers, more employees, bigger size, that sort of thing, subject to some design standards and things like that, where you have different intensities of that can go in different
Right now, we
settings.
have one
Right.
home occupation, and that's
Right,
it.
right. We've created
And it's very
something
limited.
beyond that, which allows that, what you're talking about, to happen. But that can be done it doesn't have to be stuck into all that rural mixed-use district. It can be in rural residential, it can be in that, we have it in ag districts. You know, but it's
That's
designed,
the-
it's
that's
designed
the-
to do
that's the
that.
point.
Yeah, we
That's
could,
Cody's
we could
point.
work that in.
Yeah.
Yes.
What, okay, so you're going to look into the data center. first. I'd like to have this board make a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors that we, I don't want to say this, we're going to adopt an overlay. Am I hearing, sounding right?
We're certainly headed in that direction, yes.
In the southernmost.
Southernmost commercial district.
Commercial industrial district, existing.
yes.
Yeah, the southernmost commercial. And also request that the supervisors initiate the process to adopt an ordinance to cover that overlay district. Is it?
What was your second point?
What was the second?
Because we're really not ready to do that until we get the information back.
Well,
We can do that
we
then.
can,
He wants to get permission from the supervisor to follow through with it.
yeah. But we gotta start the process, that's what I'm after, make the motion that we start the process to do an overlay district in the southernmost industrial,
Commercial industrial, yeah.
Commercial industrial, and also, wherever the process is to adopt, an ordinance to cover that overlay.
Gather the information and, yeah.
Okay, I have another question quick. I'm just picking this up from your old discussion. You mentioned something about 6 months, once you start something. What was that about? Is this setting off a time?
Curative amendment, no, we're not doing
No,
that.
no.
This process.
Okay.
We're
You
not
don't wanna
setting
do
that, we're not starting we're not starting another
Okay,
clock.
just checking.
No. That's a curative amendment, a separate process.
But by us taking an official, well, we recommend it, if the supervisors take official action on it, then
The clock starts.
We're
the clock
hoping-
starts, if somebody comes in, it's all right, we started working on it.
Yeah, so you're in a way, you're protecting.
We're trying to avoid a curative amendment.
Right.
That one.
So we're asking the supervisors to give us permission to start working on the ordinance for the overlay in the commercial.
That's his motion.
That's what you're.
Okay, no, yeah.
Let's-
Let me
let's-
get, let me get this
Let's
right.
hash this recommendation out.
Yes. First I wrote, recommend to the Board of Supervisors to adopt an overlay in the southernmost existing commercial district. But then you're saying,
You can't do it that way.
How about gathering information?
Gathering information.
recommend,
Or starting the process.
Start the
Why does
process.
it have
We're
to be,
really-
why does it have to be a motion?
I
Just-
don't, I don't understand that
Just-
either, because as far as I'm
Just tell the
concerned,
supervisors that in response to
the
your
supervisors
request.
asked us to start working
Right.
on this. This
yeah,
is
they've
part of
already
that.
told us
We
to
told
start
you to
working
start
on
working.
Yeah,
data
that
centers,
was,
so
that was a
isn't that
motion at
part
the
of
last
it?
meeting. I'm fine with that.
My only point is, we make formal recommendations, and then the supervisors take action to tell us to do that, and that's locked in. At least in my experience. If something is started by the action of the board,
I think,
That's
I
what,
think
that's on the
legally you're
record.
probably
That's what
correct.
you're looking at.
So you want
That's on the
us
right.
Yeah.
Already
to
have it on
recommend to the
record,
Board
but
of
I'll do it.
Supervisors to give us permission to pursue.
The overlay and the data center ordinance.
Well, we already got permission to do the data centers.
Really, what you want is permission to look at this paperwork from the other.
Yeah, but that's
That's part of
already
what
part
they
of.
already gave us
Yeah,
permission
that's,
to do.
we already had permission for
And
that.
we've been doing that for 2 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so recommend to the Board of for us to pursue the possibility of an overlay.
Data center overlay.
Andy, is there a way we can get rid of zoning in its entirety? Because well, before the whole county in here loses their mind, there are places in this country that don't have it. In fact, I own some property in those places that don't have it, and they don't encounter some of these problems. And when a data center does come in, they can go, hey, we ain't putting it
Yeah,
here.
you just don't want to.
Because the zoning makes things a little complicated. So can we scale back some of this operation maybe?
You can do whatever you want. It's worth pointing out that those municipalities that don't have zoning,
We ain't
That-
stopping it with our zoning here anyhow.
well, they're not stopping it either. Because the only
but-
thing that's usually stopping it there is the fact that those places are often so far removed from where the development wants to be that they don't look there in the first place.
That's not true.
So, I do know of one municipality over in Franklin County that
Mhm.
unadopted a zoning ordinance.
What
after
county
it was-
or what township is that?
I don't remember. It was on the west side of Chambersburg.
Is it Hamilton?
I don't know.
Hamilton doesn't it?
Because
St.
what
Thomas
this
doesn't
9
it?
times out of
It might
10
be-
does
It might
here.
be St. Thomas, but they had it, they adopted it for the first time, and the board ran on unadopting it, that board won and they unadopted it.
What,
So-
the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Here's what zoning does. It allows you to make all kinds of rules and regulations. That's the good part about it. That's why everybody likes zoning. Here's what they don't like about zoning. You can't keep nothing out. So you adopt something thinking you can keep it out, but you can't because you have to allow for it.
But what it does do,
Helps you regulate it,
it,
right?
it puts, if it's done properly, it puts the uses in areas where it should be.
Okay, but why can't you do that without
But,
zoning?
but you know what happened, well, you know what, before we had zoning, now, I don't want to name the developer, but I will, Fox. He just plastered developments all over the place, out in the farmland.
But that's because we had no rules.
We had no rules, and that's
See, we
why.
needed rules.
But
And
No,
that's why-
zoning and the rules are separate.
You can still make your own rules.
Without rules and zoning, you end up with chaos, and that's what we had before. That's why Moomaw
Mr.
came there and tried to
Moomaw,
put a trailer
just
park
about-
on the side of a,
Yep, just
I
about
live in a township.
jammed up.
I
I forget how many hundred trailer park down our throats.
yeah, it was on steep grade, I
Oh,
mean.
it was a terrible place.
if you don't have a zoning ordinance, then your subdivision ordinance is the only thing that controls.
And that doesn't give you much
And
to.
most subdivision ordinances don't have any dimensional standards. Even there's some of the older ones that did, but because they didn't have zoning, it just established it by use. But you could do
Whatever you
and you could do that on any property you wanted. regardless of whether it was appropriate for it or not. So if you took your zoning ordinance out and put some, you couldn't even put it by specific use. It would be, you know, for industrial projects, these are your basic dimensional standards. They could do it anywhere. They could put the data center at the interchange. They could put it in the middle of the fruit belt. They could put it on whatever property was willing to sell them to it, and could meet those standards.
Same
They
with the
could do
solar
it,
field, it
do
could
it
go
there.
anywhere in the town.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you can still have zoning,
See, I
but
don't get that. Look, I got 62 acres in Ohio, no zoning in a township. And I go to the board and I say, look, I want to do this or that. You can do this and that, okay? Here you can't. But when it comes to commercial and mobile homes, they hammer you on the rules because they control that. It's a township. They have a right to control that. They can tell you where to put it, how to put it, when to put it. No zoning.
Well, different states have different enabling legislation. In Pennsylvania, if you have zoning, you have to provide for reuse. If you don't have
It's
zoning,
a-
you're providing
it's
for
a
reuse
Commonwealth,
anyway.
just like Pennsylvania.
But those are different rules.
Wherever you want.
Well, the rules are made by the township.
Under the state law. Okay, that's not our point.
Yeah, we're not getting rid of
that's
zoning.
not-
It ain't going away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back to what we were trying to finish out here, Roxy.
Yeah, somebody making a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors to pursue a data center overlay in southernmost existing commercial zoning.
Shouldn't that be just to adopt an overlay?
Well, that's what I had, and you told me
Well,
no.
no.
Somebody said no.
Andy, what do you think? If you recommend to adopt an overlay, is that? I know, I'm putting you on the spot.
I mean, if you're just asking the elected body to give you permission to do that, like is asking that this is what we want to do, you know, give us your blessing, yes or no.
Read that back, what would it say?
Okay, which way would you like me to read it? The first one was recommend to the Board of Supervisors to adopt an overlay, a data center overlay in the southernmost existing commercial zoning properties. Then I changed it to recommend to the board to pursue a data center overlay in the southernmost existing commercial properties.
I like the second one better because
To
unless we're
pursue.
specifically asking what the overlay is, we're not asking them to adopt an
The
overlay.
first one doesn't, says adopt, and that's not what you want.
Yeah.
Come up with
So if we're doing one, I'd do the second one.
much better.
You all
Okay,
right
so
with that?
recommend to
Yeah.
the Board of Supervisors to give us permission to pursue a data center overlay in the southernmost existing commercial property.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Motion's been made, is there a second to that?
Somebody please second.
Second by Kyle. Is there anybody have any questions on that?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So, there. It's like pulling teeth. All right. Andy, do you have anything else you want? You're all out tonight.
I don't want this to get into a long discussion, but Andy, is this, look anything familiar to you? And this is on data centers. This overall grading of a township person, yes, and she took the liberty to print one of these for all of us. So in our continued data research,
Be helpful. Yeah.
if you want to pass those
Yeah,
down.
sure. I've not seen this.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a
Is there another one this way?
You need another one?
Yeah, everybody needs
Yeah.
one.
You can keep that if you want, I mean, but
I'll take a picture of it. It looks like the township up there adopted an ordinance, and this is like a, little one-page summary of what's in it.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
a review of it by somebody.
That's supposedly
No,
a very,
It looks like, I'll have to see what this is. It looks like it's a review of the ordinance by some, the PA Data Center Accountability Group, whoever that is reviewing the ordinance, saying what it gets right, what it doesn't get right.
Yes, that's what this was. They looked at other people's ordinances and gave them a grade.
that specific, yeah.
Yeah,
Shamokin
and then
Township.
this was the one that got the best grade.
Okay.
So she thought that she could share it with us.
So we could look that ordinance number up and actually see
Yeah.
what it is.
Right.
And decommissioning bond, that's standard in a lot of energy, or these type of uses, solar, et cetera. Radiological land survey. I've not heard of that, but I have to look what that says. Electricity rate impact, that's good, but I don't want to sound more negative. This is going to come off very negative, and I don't necessarily mean it that way. That's a great standard to have, but it's quite frankly not something that a municipal government has any control over. So, it's whatever you see, whoever it is that, unless you're a municipality that has your own electric generation, there are some of those out there.
Well, when I see Shamokin, that's what I think.
They might, well, they
I
might.
don't know.
I don't know, but there's some that do
Coal plant there.
have their own.
If that's where it's at, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
if that's true, then that makes sense, but for most municipalities, that doesn't, that's
They had a coal
irrelevant.
burning plant there.
The,
You put up a solar farm.
It was just some information
Can't use that on
for
the
us,
data center.
for ours,
It's not reliable.
as we look into our data
yeah.
and information.
And that property value impact study, that's,
Yeah, it is better.
there's a lot of things that are good, but the question you always have to ask yourself, when you put a standard in place for a use, is
They don't put anything anymore?
how do I as a municipality enforce that? And what gives me the ability to do that? Okay, you do a property value impact study, great, now what?
Two loads a day
Yeah.
now.
What does that, what can you do about it? There's not much you can do about it, so I'll take a look at it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And see, let's see what their ordinance is compared to what we have, so.
All right, just for public comment, next, Miranda.
Yeah, this will be quick, because we all want to get out of here. You had mentioned, Mr. Strife, about to get back to the original purpose of this discussion, which was the zoning. What was the original purpose?
We were re-looking at the township zoning to make sure that we were in the best position to be able to provide for the citizens who need and want zoning, and some of the points brought up tonight are exactly on point about what if somebody is in an agricultural area that doesn't allow for them to have a two-bay garage. Looking at zoning generally, and then more specifically, making sure that we're in a defensible position if someone would attack the fact that we don't have a lot of commercial.
So was it the
As to
township that
campus.
initiated having Andy Merkel come in here, or was it the county that said you should look at your old zoning?
It was the township, as far as I'm concerned, we're the one that asked for it.
Okay. And in reference to the data centers, something that's never been discussed here in a couple meetings are the environmental and health issues. There was a symposium held in Goddard, Kansas, with 2 environmental experts discussing environmental and the health issues of residents. Is that going to be discussed here at these meetings in the future here?
Well, my answer would be yes, but we're limited in what our ability to either enforce, to Andy's prior point, any of those types of regulations. But those are things that we concern ourselves with at the level that makes sense for us to concern ourselves with.
because it is the supervisors, one of their responsibilities is the health and welfare of the citizens. Now, there are municipalities that have banned data centers
Yes.
for 1 or 2 years.
Yes.
Is that something possible here? Because this seems to be very fast-tracked. And we're going into, oh, let's get an overlay and do this, and it just seems very rushed. That's all, that's fine.
Is that a comment
That
or a
was com-
question?
That was a comment,
Okay, all right. Okay, noted, your comment is noted. All right.
or else we'd be here. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comments? Upcoming meetings, the supervisors is June 11th, and the planning commission's next meeting is back to normal, back to June 22nd, which is the fourth on the calendar, that should be the fourth Monday.
Must be 5 Mondays.
So, anybody else have anything on the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make
Make
that.
that motion.
Everybody.
I'll put you as the second.
That'll work.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nobody's opposed.
Did you say June 21st or 22nd?
22nd.
Are we gonna,
Thank you for not extending the meeting.
we gotta move these tables
Yes.
before somebody.
These tables stay here. We need to get rid of the chairs, so goodbye, everybody. And move that table.
One request I
Yeah,
have.
Scott- yeah, Scott's table.
That's the good back here.
Yeah.
Sports golf, I've been hearing them.
It's not enforced.
And here it was
These
said
chairs
four
But
times.
nobody knows it is what it actually is today.
What?
These chairs.
They can stay, yes. All the folding chairs have to
Now
be
go back in here.
put in the closet, yes.
Oh, it's coming.
Remember, Roxy, we gotta sign.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna put my green pen away so I don't sign it.
Do you want all these taken down?
Yes, please.
Where do you want to put them?
In that closet.
Okay.
Yeah, before we get, before they decide to take a drive.